Sarah has been teaching her small group financial literacy class about the financial services that banks and credit unions offer to the public. She has asked a representative from a local credit union to come and speak to the class and answer their questions. Watch as they brainstorm questions to ask the credit union representative.
Hi everybody. We've been talking a lot about opening accounts, so I've invited Greg Suzuki from Cooperative Federal Credit Union to come in and speak to us next week. Today what I'd like us to do is to brainstorm some questions. I'll write the questions up here and you can write them on your form. Make sure to leave enough space so that when he answers your questions next week, you can write his answers down. Does anybody have a question that they'd like to ask? Whitney?
Yes, you said this person is from a credit union, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what is a credit union and how is that different from a bank?
Great question. Anybody else have any questions? Lenny.
I've never had an account before, so why would I need one now? And also, do you need to be a citizen to open an account? My husband only has his work visa.
Great questions. Michelle?
I have a question. I'd like to know what I need to open an account, and do I need a lot of money?
That's a great question.
I have a question. Do I need good credit to open an account? And if I owe money to someone, like my cell phone company, can I still open an account? And if I do owe them money, can they go in and take my money from me?
Great questions.
Sarah continues to work with the students to brainstorm questions they want to ask.
You have asked a lot of great questions. So let's get into some of these questions a little bit more. Lenny, you asked why you would need a bank account. Are there certain things that you might want to be able to do with your money that you're not sure if an account would help you with?
Well, my husband and I send money back to family, and sometimes they send money to us. So will a bank account help me do that?
Good question. Anybody else?
I would like to know more about online banking.
Great. What about online banking do you want to know?
Everything. Uh, how does your money get into the account? How do you pay for things online? How can I pay for my rent?
Great. I think what I'm going to do is just ask Greg to explain online banking and how it works, how the whole process works for us. Anybody else? Money?
I want to know how to get my money out. I've seen ATMs and I know they're all over, but do I have to go to certain ones? And how much money can I take out? Can I take a lot of money out?
Great question. Anybody have any other questions?
So I want to know more about hidden fees. I hear all these horror stories about hidden fees. Like, for example, I had a friend that bought something with her checking account and she didn't have enough money in the account, but she had to pay for the item anyway. And then on top of it, they charged her all these extra fees, so it cost her all this extra money that she didn't have. I want to make sure that this doesn't happen to me. How does this actually work?
Great question. I know that those are called overdraft fees. So what we'll do is we'll ask Greg to explain what overdraft fees are and what happens when we don't have the money in our account to pay for something. So let's write this down.
Sarah continues to work with the students to brainstorm questions they want to ask. It's now 1 week later, and Greg, the representative from the credit union, has come to talk to Sarah's group.
Hi everyone, this is Greg. He's excited to be here today to answer your questions. I'm going to let him introduce himself.
Hi everyone, I'm Greg Suzuki. I've been working for the credit union for about 10 years. My job is to serve our members, meaning anyone that has an account with us. Anyone that has an account with us is a member and a co-owner of the credit union, making us something that's called a cooperative. We offer checking accounts, savings accounts, direct deposit, debit cards, and lots of other services very similar to what you would find at a bank.
Thanks, Greg. I sent you our questions from last week already so that you were prepared to answer some of the questions that we would be asking you today. Our students have forms in front of them where they have the questions written out and they're going to write down the answers as you give them to them. So who wants to ask the first question?
Hi, Greg. Could you tell us the difference between a bank and a credit union?
Sure. Basically, banks and credit unions perform many of the same functions. They have different accounts for people, checking and savings. They provide loans for things like houses and cars. They help with investments and a variety of other financial services that you may be interested in at some point. But the big difference is that banks have shareholders while credit unions have members. Now, when banks make profits, they pay them to their shareholders, the people that have stock in the bank. When credit union makes profits, it pays that money back to its members, the people who use it, by providing higher savings rates and lower loan rates.
So it sounds like a credit union is better than a bank.
Oh, okay, well, I didn't say that. But truthfully, any bank or credit union has your same basic services: checking and savings accounts, making loans. Choose the institution, credit union or bank, that best meets your needs. You want to consider things that are very important to you, like maybe hours of operation, the location. Before you open a new account, visit the establishment, talk to the people who work there, and ask them questions like the ones you're asking me today. And if you have other questions later on, make sure there's someone there that you can speak with. Okay, some other questions.
Greg continues to answer the students' questions.
Okay, that's all the time we have. Thanks for coming in, Greg. Class, let's thank Greg for coming in and answering our questions.
Thank
you, Greg.
Well, thank you for inviting me. Listen, I brought some brochures that I'll leave with you here that talk a little bit more about what we do, our services, and who we are. And I'll leave my business cards as well. If you have any questions later on, you'd like to contact me, please. You are more than welcome to call me. Or you could stop in if at some time you decide you'd like to open an account with us. And our hours of operation are right there in the brochure. So again, thanks very much.
Thank
Best of
you.
luck.
Thank you.